Honorable Chair, I'd like to make the report does exist for the Select Committee on the monitoring the implementation of government projects for commerce business.
Thank you very much. It has been reported that quorum does exist for the standing committee project monitor and implementation of commerce business. Those in I say yes, and those say no. Yes. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. So now we go through the agendas and adopt them. Review and adoption of the minutes of the 21st June 20. I told the clerk we make that after we interacted with the institutions. We can do that in-house. So we go to the statement from the chairperson of the committee, administration of affirmation of oath, discussion on the status of the project, starting from the Ministry of Works, NRA, YC projects 50-kilometer roads, Baden roads, water and electricity projects, and the 5-star hotel. Then last Gamworks, I don't know whether Gamworks is present. And also Nawec projects, because this is why tomorrow we are, is it tomorrow or after tomorrow? We are interacting with Ministry of Finance to give us all the names of capital projects that are within within the government of the Gambia. We also, because initially, such projects, infrastructural projects will fall under the purview of other committees. But this time around, the government project monitor and government project monitoring want all these capital projects to fall under this committee. So it is not bad that these other committee project members are here as well.
Honorable Chair.
So can I,
May I observe? I think we have to adopt the...
Yeah, that's what we do. We come to adopt the agenda before we proceed.
No, I thought you said maybe after this interview.
No, the minutes. We cannot review the minutes in front of these people. So we will do that later. When they leave, we are going to adopt our minutes. So right now, we're only going to adopt the agenda for the meeting.
I understand, but in the correct procedure, we adopt the agenda and the minutes before the...
So you want us to adopt the minutes in front of them?
No, that's the correct procedure before they come in.
But now we cannot tell them to stand down and review our minutes. Right. Why not we be flexible on this, then later we can adjust our minutes. So can anyone move the motion to adopt the agenda?
I move a motion to adopt the agendas of the Select Committee on Monitoring the Implementation of Government Projects without amendment.
It has been moved that we adopt the agenda without amendments. Any seconder?
I second it.
It has been moved and seconded. Therefore, we will do the minutes as there. So now the statement by the chairperson of the committee. Oh yeah, introduction of participants here. Can you start from the start?
Good afternoon. My name is Shah, Johnson constituency, member and vice chair of the committee.
I am Honorable Yahya Sanyang, chairperson, a member for Ulato constituency.
I am Honorable Musa Cham, a member for Serakunda and a member of this committee monitoring the implementation of government projects.
I am Honorable Keba Tumani Sane, a National Assembly member for Fonyi Jarol and a member to this monitoring and implementation of project committee.
Good afternoon, I'm Honorable Absensi, National Assembly member, Same constituency.
Good afternoon, I'm Honorable Famara Sabali, member for Woolly West.
Good afternoon to you all. I am Honorable Tamfis Cham, National Assembly member for the Banjo constituency, and I am part of this committee.
Honorable Sinin, a member from Lower Salo, and a member of monitoring government projects.
Good afternoon. I am Momoduba, Assistant Senior Committee.
Thank you. My name is Ibrahim Osila. I'm the Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure.
My name is Ibrahim Asisa. I'm the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Transport.
Works and
Minister of Works, Transport and Infrastructure.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Yanko Adiba. I'm the Chief Executive Officer, Gambia OIC Secretariat.
Good afternoon. My name is Famsu Bojan, Director General, Gambia Civil Aviation.
Good afternoon. I am Usman Sise, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure.
Good afternoon. My name is Mata Sise. I'm the Director of Technical Services, Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure.
Good afternoon, Ibrahim Akoli, Deputy Permanent Secretary Technical, Minister of Transport.
Good afternoon, Issa Bogarsi, Deputy Chief Executive Officer, OIC, Gambia.
Maria Mufufana, Principal Assistant Secretary, Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure.
Good afternoon, my name is Kabir Jan, the Project Manager for Gambia Civil Aviation Authority.
I am Esa Drani, Director of Transport, Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Joe Jata, Technical Director, National Roads Authority.
Good afternoon. I am Keba Trewale, Principal Engineer, National Road Authority.
Good afternoon. I'm Idris Ajaju. I'm the Deputy Managing Director of NAWEC.
Good afternoon. Nani Dwara, Managing Director of NAWEC.
Good afternoon. Mr. Bakari Kanti, Projects and Planning Director, NAWEC.
Good afternoon. My name is Mfalli Federa, OIC Gambia Secretariat.
Good afternoon, Marlene Roberts Sede, Chief Operating Officer for the Water and Sewage Business Unit at NAWEC.
Good morning. My name is Ibrahim Sekam, Senior Water Distribution Manager, NAWEC.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Omar Sani. I'm Project Coordinator, Water Supply in Greater Banjo Area Project.
Good afternoon. My name is Babu Kafal, Head of Power Generation, NAWEC.
Good afternoon, Usman Jai, Senior Manager Projects and Planning Department and Project Coordinator for the Electricity Expansion Project.
Good afternoon, my name is Omar Khan, Gambia OIC Secretary.
Good afternoon, my name is Tijan Fuma, Head of Finance, Gambia OIC Secretary.
Good afternoon, I am Ibrahim Abbas, Senior Power Engineer, NAWEC.
Good afternoon, I'm Pateso, Operating Officer, NAWEC Electricity Business.
Good afternoon, I am Hadija, Project Coordinator, NAWEC PIU.
Good afternoon, I'm Free Mariam Sanya, Procurement Specialist, NAWEC PIU.
Good afternoon, my name is Omar P, Deputy General Gambia.
Thank you very much for your wonderful introductions. Before I start reading my statement, now the standing order, the part of the standing order that mandated the National Assembly for every witness to take oath has now been activated. Therefore, all the institutions can we give the names of persons who are going to do your listing statements to give their name to the clerk. The clerk is going to administer the oath. That's going to be after my speech, according to the clerk. So thank you very much for coming. It's like this is a very short notice, and before I start reading my statement, we apologize for this. There was miscommunication from myself and the clerk. I told the clerk on the 1st of July, in the whole he did not hear me very, very well, and give you people this prompt schedule, which I know some of you were inconvenienced. The committee, on behalf of the committee, I apologize to everybody who is here, who is inconvenienced by one way or the other. So good morning to my honorable members, cabinet ministers, the clerk, support staff, the permanent secretary, and heads of all institutions and your staff that are present here. As the chair of this committee on monitoring the implementation of government projects, it is indeed a great privilege to receive you all, and I welcome you all on behalf of this select committee to interact with you on all your various projects, to know their status, challenges, and the way forward. Honorable members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Select Committee on Monitoring the Implementation of Government Projects is established by Section 109, subsection 1, paragraph E of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, and brought its mandate from the Standing Order 97 of the National Assembly. It is entrusted with the responsibility of exercising the oversight functions of the National Assembly in considering and advising upon all matters connected with government capital projects. Honorable members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, We are all aware of the budget allocations towards infrastructural projects in this country, and good percentage of this budget comes from grants and loans payable by the citizens of this country. Therefore, this committee will not take it lightly with any minister, head of institution, or project manager who is found wanting for lack of delivery or process manipulation by way of contract awards, projects procurement process, etc. This committee will never embark on any witch-hunting exercise until anyone, either a minister, permanent secretary, head of institution, or a project manager is suspicious of behaving to be a witch on government projects, just to evict him or herself. Instances like this committee will work day and night to make sure that if this oversight function is adequately addressed and culprit be exposed with the most severe of all recommendations. For the purpose of performing these functions effectively, Section 109, Subsection 3 of the 1997 Constitution provides that this committee shall have all the powers, rights, and privileges that are vested in the High Court at a trial in respect of enforcing the attendance of witness. This means that anyone of you is found wanting for any malpractice, this committee can summon any Gambian person to come and speak and deliver evidence against you. B. Examining oaths. Examining witness on oath or affirmation or otherwise, compelling the production of documents. This means that the committee can ask any government project institution to produce any document with regards to project proposal, procurement processes, contract awards, and project evaluation reports, project management structure, etc. I therefore urge the minister, the permanent secretary, heads of all institutions, and project managers to give us full compliance when matters arise, so as to avoid a very tough relationship between your institution and this committee. Honorable members and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind all of you the key functions of this committee, which includes identify, monitor, and conduct oversight functions on all the ministries, departments, and agencies of the government responsible for all capital projects. Receive and review domestic and foreign loans, grants agreements, policies, strategic plans, and other measures related to capital projects, and advise on improving text and implementing mandates. Receive and review reports on projects from the ministries on operations, challenges, decisions, and proposals. Receive and review agreements relating to capital projects and give advice before ratification. Review budget proposal and activities of departments and agencies responsible for government capital projects. Monitor the implementation of projects connected with government when achievements against expected outcome, and provide advice and legislative support. Give periodic and annual report on the state of affairs of government capital projects to the National Assembly. Honorable members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this committee from now onwards will give legislative support to only projects that are necessary, where good feasibility studies are conducted and it's proved that such project is needed in so and so places, not by way of any political propaganda or gained by any political party. If 100 people live in Sutumasirale village in URA and without roads at all, and 5,000 people live in Quinal village in LRA, but without better roads, probably they just need rehabilitation. This committee will give its legislative support to the 100 people living in Sutumasirale over the 5,000 people living in Quinal. Politicians will look at the amount of people for votes, whilst we will look at the suffering of the people and support projects to improve and better their living conditions. Therefore, from now onwards, every feasibility study conducted by any ministry, institution, or agency with the intention of carrying out government projects must submit such report to this committee for parliamentary scrutiny before we are in a position to ratify any laws for that project. If any minister, permanent secretary, or head of institution fail to do this, you will create a parliamentary stamp of with this committee, and necessary legal instruments will be activated until you submit the report. Cutting the cost and amount of consultancies in this country. This National Assembly 3 weeks ago have interacted with the UK and Commonwealth parliamentarians, and we were inspired and took motivation from them on how they were able to cut and minimize the amount of consultancy by the British government, which cost the British government millions of pounds. Our situations are not different from them. Consultancies are costing us millions of dollars on a yearly basis, and it is high time we look into this problematic situation and do the needful. This committee will engage the relevant stakeholders, especially the Minister of Finance and donors on the way forward. Hence, in most cases, consultancy is a requirement from the donors. Either to reduce the traditional consultancy fee from 2% to 1.5%, or not to put a consultancy on all projects and to utilize the necessary human resources in each institution to take up such roles of consultants. how do we effectively engage the service of the police? Another recommendation this committee want to further work with the Ministry of Works and other like-minded institutions is how do we effectively engage the services of the police engineering and armed forces engineering unit as it is done in other countries to minimize the cost of government infrastructural projects. Countries like America, United Kingdom, Australia, and others, the participation of servicemen in infrastructural projects is saving their government millions of dollars year in and out. This committee will further engage the Ministry of Works, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Defense, Chief of Defense of the Gambia Armed Forces, Ministry of Interior, the Inspector General of Police, and DPPA. This meeting will be a very frank conversation between stakeholders on the way forward on how to engage the servicemen and women in doing government projects at a very reasonable amount. How about establishing national construction enterprises that will be owned and managed by government as in the case of China? This committee and relevant stakeholders will also explore this opportunity and see its feasibility in the Gambia, either now or later, but it has to start from somewhere. The aim and objective of all this initiative is to enable government save money and redirect such monies to other meaningful projects and also to prevent individuals from rigging themselves and their families from government projects. On behalf of the honorable members, let me inform you that this committee will roll out in July to physically supervise all government projects to establish as follows. Review of all documentation, including project planning, documents, technical outputs, and monitoring reports. Review of all documentation related to the management of the project and its financial management. Interview with project staff and implementing partners. Interviews with stakeholders, beneficiaries, and all contractors, subcontractors, and consultants. Therefore, all government ministries, department agencies, and institutions are pleased to submit the list of their ongoing projects and those projects that are finished within the last 1 year to form part of the list of the projects to be visited by the committee and addressed to the chairperson, Government Projects Monitoring and Implementation, National Assembly, latest 30th of June 2022. To achieve this mission successfully and efficiently, this committee is on the verge of hiring the service of the best subject matter specialists to have ever worked with this National Assembly. Therefore, I urge all of you to put your houses in order before this field visit, because this committee will expose all of it that we see as malpractices. Also note that this committee will not downplay any social media reaction against any one of you by concerned Gambians for malpractices. We will not hold such social media reaction as facts against you or false against you, but we are going to conduct necessary parliamentary due diligence to verify whether it is true or not. Let's always endeavor to do it right. We are all presiding over the state of affairs of this nation, presiding over national processes for the betterment of this country. Our objective is to make sure ministries, institutions, and agencies are transparent and accountable to the Gambian taxpayers. I thank you all for your kind attention, and I wish us to have a very fruitful relationship. So we go to the fourth agenda now, administration of affirmation or oath. I don't know which institution is going to start, Minister of Works, because on the in the agenda you guys are supposed to do a presentation.
You want me to take an oath? I said
exactly.
I'm not taking
now
any
they are
oath.
going to give you
I'm not taking any oath. I have already taken an oath as a minister. This is not an investigation.
So you're instead as third president of the OTI. That's what you're talking about.
Please let me have this.
That is why I say let's work hard in that and just also
please. I am not taking any oath because I.
If you are going to give witness, if you are
this is not a witness statement. This is not a witness statement.
It's a witness statement, of course. Let me
please,
say anybody who is summoned here is a witness. Anybody who is summoned to the National Assembly is a witness.
Are we summoned or we are invited?
Look at the heading of your letter.
Are we summoned or invited?
Look at your letter.
What we have is you are invited, not summoned. We are invited to come here, and we are not summoned.
Chairman, I think he requested something. Let the clerk provide that.
Exactly. Let the clerk. What is his problem of not providing the standing order for members of this committee to understand what he's talking about?
You are right.
Nobody is the child here.
Because he just wants to see
this way. Nobody will intimidate us.
Please. You are right.
Give me the standing order.
It's coming.
It's coming.
I mean, Honourable Minister, let's all understand one thing.
that we are here working at the Gambia. Everything that you need to know, just put it forward and then we try to help you on it. It's very simple. It's not about politics, it's about Gambia. That's right. It's not about Gambia. Right. Let's work as a team and see what our family so that we can achieve what we want. Correct. We are all in the same boat. Correct. We want captain. So let's understand among ourselves. Let's all put our tempers down and know that we are here at the National Assembly for only one objective. That's what we need to see Gambia forward. Please. Yeah, it's one section. Yeah, I'm going to.
Minister should be reminded that this is National Assembly.
I think the honorable member of the National Assembly should have decorum in the way he talks to people. And I expect you to do that. If you cannot invite people to the National Assembly and you go to Facebook and you say that you are coming to ridicule those people, that is unacceptable. I'm not that type that you will do.
Can you post about a concerned Gambian?
Can you read this for us so that we understand?
You read it by yourself.
No. Okay.
No, he said we should. No. This is what he said.
You are wasting time. You have to behave maturely. Honestly, this is unacceptable.
He said he requested something.
I requested you to give me the relevant section of the National Assembly standing orders that obliges ministers to come here and take an oath.
Thank you.
If you cannot show me, why should I do that? Show me a relevant section of the standing orders that obliges a state minister that has already taken an oath to come and take another oath before a standing order where you are just invited to give a statement to you. No. No, look, this is unacceptable. You telling me to take an oath, I told you on what basis? Where is the standing order that says that I should take an oath before the National Assembly to give a statement?
But, Honorable Minister, it depends on the circumstances, like you highlighted here, but all you are called to witness. Hence, the committee is given the powers of a high court, and to, that is why. And that, and we all respect you, yeah.
For us, our role is to help this National Assembly Standing Committee exercise its function as an oversight body.
You're not helping this committee.
Please stop interrupting. Stop interrupting. You are the chair and you should behave. Your behavior.
Because we are not going to say something that doesn't exist.
Your behavior should equate the status of the National Assembly member with decorum and all protocols that deserve respect from you. I am here to support this committee do its job effectively. As a new minister, it is in my interest that we have committees that will work with to do our job effectively. But I will not allow myself to come here and have a National Assembly member force me to do something that is not in line with the Constitution, and I'm not going to do that. A permanent secretary is an officer of the state who has taken an oath before his appointment oath takes effect. A minister saw the same thing. You expect us to come here again and take another oath just because we want to interact with the National Assembly? Show me the section of the standing orders. I'm not going to do that. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, where's the Constitution? Yes, Honorable Minister, you gave us an assignment. The clerk is out of the point. Just give us time. No, I'm just, just give us time. He will soon be around. Then we all sit together at
Honorable Minister, Section 109, subsection 3 of the 1997 Constitution provides that this committee shall have all the powers, rights and privileges that are vested in the High Court and the tried in respect of enforcing the attendance of witnesses. B. Examining witnesses on oath or affirmation. or otherwise, compelling the production of documents. This is what the Constitution equate. The Constitution equate this committee to the High Court of the Gambia. The letter that was sent to when National Assembly is dispatching letter is a summon. You are summoned to appear as witness. Here, you are not summoned here as a minister of the state. You are summoned here as a witness, coming to give a status of progress under your purview. This is what is happening here. Section 109, Section 2 of the 1997 Constitution equates this committee to the High Court at trial. This is what you should understand.
No,
you understand? This is your fourth time to appear before this committee, and it's not getting well.
I fully understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
Your actions.
Are you the one giving project? Are you the one giving status? No,
I'm not giving any statement here.
Status?
I am saying that I am only. Leading a team. You want me to take an oath? I'm not going to take any oath because I'm leading a team.
No, you
Number
don't necessarily have to take it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. No, please, let me finish. Your first statement was I should take an oath. I said on what basis? Because I am only leading a team. All right. I'm not doing the presentation.
Exactly.
I'm only doing the introduction.
The person doing the presentation is one going to talk about it.
That was never clear.
No, but I said that.
Now that you are clear.
But for the sake of progress, let's
now that you are clear.
If you were listening, I said
you
every institution, those who are giving you support. You cannot make yourself so proud. You cannot do that here, please. Because at the beginning of my statement, I said those institutions, the head of institutions who are
never said that.
That's what I said.
You said I should take an
Let's go to the question here.
Your officer came to me and said I should take an oath. I said based on what?
No, then something went wrong. Yes, if you are not giving testimony, you don't even take that.
Okay, I think you should do your homework.
No, I think no. The Honorable Minister said he's not going to give any suggestions, and that was why I went to the next person.
Exactly. Yes.
So what is the chairperson?
So what is this problem now? You should act like this.
No.
Honorable Minister, we want to respect. I think you should be speaking through the chairperson of the committee instead of addressing your members directly.
No, we were doing a consultation. All right, that was when he interjected and called you to ask what we were saying. I said no, we are we were doing a consultation.
No, let the chair read the question, please. We go forward. Let the chair read the question.
I couldn't get that. I am not going to tell you what.
You are not. You are not going to take an oath because you are not giving testimony. You are not talking. But if you are going to talk here, you must take an oath. If you don't take an oath, I call the signing around to drag you out of this room. Honorable Minister, that's the fact.
If you have that power,
yes.
No, Honorable Chair. If you have the
we go to section 3.
Just wait. Who do you think you are? No, this guy, your chairman went to the Facebook to claim that he's coming to face the minister face to face, mood to mood. This guy has to check himself. Who does he think he is? Call your sergeant to drag me out.
Is there any possibility if you go in here?
No, there is no possibility.
You are not giving testimony.
He needs to have
you are not giving testimony.
You need to have decorum.
If you are giving testimony, you are
not mature.
They are procedures. They are procedures here.
Please.
Yes, please.
Now let me get.
He is not mature. He has to behave like the chairman of the minister.
Honorable Minister. Please.
Now let me read it. No,
Can we sit down?
Please, let's go with this. Before we do anything, let's try to control ourselves. It's very important. By everybody is trying to argue all correct. It makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Let's take our time and know why we are here.
It is our
we are all mature people.
You see, let me tell you.
Please, just please. We are here for a reason.
Hey, Honorable Chair.
Yes.
May I observe you people?
Allow
me to come, Vice Chair.
Yes.
With due respect, allow me to come. You know, this is a national interest. Let's put all our, this my submission forever. Let's put party affiliation down there at the gate. There is no party. No, Honorable Minister, allow me to come.
No, just
please.
He's not talking to you directly.
Allow me to come. I'm trying to address all of us. Let's see Gambia first.
we are given a responsibility that we should carry to oversight these people. But we should not witch hunt each of these people. Let them bring the evidence here. We see whether the evidence is right or not. Let's scrutinize them and know what is the reality. Whatever you have, put it into them. This is what you should do. This is what you should do. Am I not right? Simple. Let's not put things like this. And again, Honorable Kia, you are presenting us. If you lose your temper, it means who to control here? Nobody. At least we should be members that should make noise. You criticize us. But if you are making noise, then who to present now? Please. The notion that the anger that you are also putting, because I saw your post on Facebook, which I don't want to say, Honorable Chair. There's a responsibility.
Can you, Honorable Member?
No, allow me to come.
Honorable Member, can you proceed, please?
Yes, allow me to come. Let me land.
It's okay.
Honorable Member,
can you proceed, please?
Very please. Honorable Chair.
Yeah, just can you please proceed, Honorable Member? Please. Can you just let me read the relevant section?
Okay, Honorable Chairman, I'm moving a motion to have a stand down that the guests can excuse us to put our house in order and we can.
Yeah, I second it.
I second it.
Yeah.
It has been moved and seconded.
Yes.
Stand down for 5 minutes.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Section 101. For the purpose of effectively performing each function, each of the committees shall have all the powers, rights and privileges as vested in the High Court at a trial in respect of A. Enforcing the attendance of witness and examining them on both affirmation or otherwise. B. Compelling the production of documents and the issue of summons or request to examine witnesses abroad. These are the sections that mandated the committee to perform oath taken on witnesses. So therefore, if you are going to give testimony, you're going to take oath. If you are not giving testimony, whether you are head of institution or a minister, you are exempted. But as far as you are giving testimony to the committee, you're going to take oath. That's the resolution of the committee. Thank you very much. Minister of Work, who is presenting on behalf of Minister of Work?
I, George Jatta. I, George Jatta. Do affirm that. I will speak the truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. So help me God. Oh, I see.
Sorry. Mr. Witness, you're going to give a presentation on all the OIC 50 kilometer.
Yes, I'll give on the 50 kilometer.
Okay.
As well as the Baden having 22 kilometers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
And other projects under the ministry.
Okay.
Nawec. We will be presenting.
Have anything to tell the committee? That's the prevent understanding.
Okay, all right.
You are not giving a witness right now, giving a testimony on behalf of your ministry. It's a statement. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you so much. If we had been clear on this from the beginning, it would have been made easier for all of us. Because what I thought ministers do at meetings like this is to give a statement. And the substantive evidence required by the committee is given by the technicians who accompany the minister or the state and the satellite agencies that actually accompany the minister. But if you want to say that a state minister who has taken an oath is to appear before a committee to take an oath before he can even make a statement, that is absurd, and that is why I said I would not take that. So, but now, you know, I can, if you oblige me to make a statement without an oath, I will do that. And I want to thank you most profoundly for that.
A statement, that's not
Yes,
a statement.
only a statement.
It's not a witness statement.
Thank you,
It's a
sir.
statement.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Before we start.
Yes.
Then give him the mic. Bring the mic, please.
This mic. Sit down.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for this opportunity to invite the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure and our satellite institutions, as well as the Oic Gambia project, to make a presentation before this National Assembly subcommittee on monitoring and implementation of government projects. This is a prime opportunity to interface with your August subcommittee to give you a detailed scope of work, the implementation status of all the projects under the ministry, the challenges, and also the way forward. As a ministry, we are profoundly grateful to the support that we have been receiving from the National Assembly over the last years, to a point that most of the major projects that we have right now in the country are all funded locally from our local budget, thanks to the support of the National Assembly and its oversight subcommittees. We hope and pray that this will also continue, so that together we can work to deliver what is best for this country, so that together we can work as a team to deliver infrastructure projects in the best interest of the people of this country, and ensure that the right things are done at all the time and at all levels, be it from feasibility to project procurement to award of contract and also implementation. And we value our collaborative role and partnership with this subcommittee over the years for the various efforts and support given to us as a ministry to deliver on the promise made to the Gambian people, to give them what is affordable and also what is valuable in terms of infrastructure. Thank you once again, Chair, Honorable Chair, and we wish and pray that we continue to work harmoniously as a team geared towards delivering the general good of our people in the best interest of this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for your statement. Can we now proceed to Mr. Jan to give us status updates of the OIC projects under their.
Good afternoon, everyone. Chair, I would like to have a clarification whether we're going to have, because on our list, you could see we have Baden as well as the 50 kilometer. We will also have the other ones under the ministry. So are we starting only with the OIC and then the other ones will come later, or?
Mr. Jared, that is entirely your choice. I don't know how you arrange your presentation, but the committee want to hear all the projects on the NRA.
Okay, good.
You have choice to start with the OIC projects.
Yes.
You have choice to go to Hakala and start. Okay. But what we just want is to have the list of all the projects on the Ministry of Works right now.
Okay, good. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am John Jata, like I said. So I will present on the projects that are under the ministry. It will come in this format. We'll start with the Baden Highway project, then the 50-kilometer urban roads, the Nyomi Hakalang, the roads in North Bank, lots 1 and 2, Sangati Karantaba, that's in Kiang, part of the Kiang West feeder roads, rural roads, as well as the road maintenance program. To start with, we will start with Baden Harin. As you could see, that's the project map. It starts from Sting Corner, or otherwise you could say it starts from the airport junction. That's where we have chain 00 as per the contract, and ends up at Sting Corner junction with the Banjo Highway. It's a 22.5 kilometer road. Like I've just said, it's 22.5 kilometers. It is under the Ministry of Works, Transport and Infrastructure, being executed by the NRA. Its engineers are South Consult in joint venture with Gamtech, a Gambian firm, and the contractor is RSKSA. It is financed by the year, ISDB, Kuwaiti Fund, and Government of the Gambia. The works value is at 71 million. The supervision value is at 1.9 million. The contract duration is 24 months, as well as supervision works contract is 24 months, as well as supervision contract also 24 months. The effective commencement order is issued for 1st of April 2022. A few on the specifications. It's a road that has 3 lanes on either side. It has a pavement thickness, asphalt pavement thickness of 10 centimeters. It's going to have road furniture, bus bays, guardrails, highway signs, road markings. It's going to have cut eyes as well on the road safety measures. The works are at, the forecasted works are at 19%, as well as actual progress is also at 19%. In a nutshell, we could say we are on track. We have not lost any form of time or progress in terms of the time that has elapsed and then what is forecasted and what is achieved. So far, we are on track. An advance payment of 13 million has been paid, as well as part of an IPC number 1 also has been paid. These 2 amounts have been paid from the government contribution. We have properties that are affected, and we are working on, we have demolished the properties from the first phase. I would like to inform you that it is done in 2 phases. Phase 1 starts from the airport junction up to Senegambia, then phase 2 from Senegambia to Sting Corner. So we are laying emphasis on the phase 1 due to the OIC summit that is going to take place. So we're having all resources based on phase 1 from airport to Sting Corner. As per the demolition, we also done the same. The relocation and the other things as well are coming up to phase 1 for now, after which we will move to phase 2. The relocation has to do with the services, telecoms, water and electricity. They are also in progress. We have employment. Under employment, we have a lot of them being Gambian. We also have foreign that are employed. We also have Gambian. As you could see, we have 84% of Gambian employed. We have some women employed, but it's not much, very few. Amongst the challenges we have is the relocation of services, like I said, water, electricity, and telecom. It's of a challenge, but we're moving, not a very, very fast pace, but we will be there shortly. We also have problem with the traffic. There's valid distance from the border pits because the contractors are getting these materials somewhere in the Fonies from Bullock and beyond. We also have water problem for the outfalls for the stormwater drainage. The road users also are not adhering to the diversions. You tell them to try to, the flagmen will try to direct the traffic from one side. They'll want to force on them and then try to take the way they wanted. So the recommendations are to have a high-level meeting of all the service providers, including their MDs, to see a way forward. And then we have also moved the flyover from traffic lights, shifted to Olyundum for now, because at Olyundum we feel we need a flyover. We also want to start working on phase 2. Immediately we are done with phase 1 with regards to the relocation of services. So now we will not be caught up as we are caught up now. So these are some progress photos The one on your left is the concreting of one of the culverts, that's the drainage structure. On the right is also the shuttering done for the walls of the culvert, of one of the culverts. On the left-hand side is the relocation of water services, and on the right-hand side is the relocation of the electricity services. On the left is the milling of the existing layer, the existing asphalt layer, to be part of the subgrade. And on the right-hand side, is using the recycler to mix the layer properly before compaction. So that's done for the 22 kilometer. Now we'll move to the 50 kilometer.
Mr. Jata, honorable members, do you want him to do the entire presentation before questions, or you ask for some presentation by presentation? Even though after here, we will request for the hard copy and soft copy of their presentations, because recommendations will come by way of that. After we will meet here at the committee also and review it. But whether you want it to go like this, after every presentation we make a question, or when presentations are done, then we do our questions. After every presentation. Okay, then the honorable members agree that we ask questions every after presentation. So now the floor is open for questions. Yes, can we move, please? Yes, honorable member for Simon.
Thank you very much, the presenter. The question that I would like to ask is about the compensation side. The compensation for those that are affected. How far with the compensation?
As far as I can tell, we have had the properties valued, and we are also working on the modalities of getting their payments done. But all the properties affected have been valued. So we're working with the Ministry of Finance to see how soon we can get that done. Any answers from my colleagues as well, if you want to say something? To address?
Yes. All right. In regards to the compensations, initially the assessment was done based on the 40 years, but when it actually comes to the actual demolition, it was based on the 30 years. So Ministry of Lands and the Department of Lands were now tasked to revalue those properties that were affected, but they've been, concerned in terms of manpower, and they've been tasked to not only work on this compensation aspect, but the other rural roads. So right now, the funds are available and kept, but they are yet to come there and do the reassessment. Once that is done, those who are there legally will be compensated. Most of them are there illegally. Yeah, so that's something that we need to take care of too as well. Thank you.
Yes. In your presentation, you have said that you're locating one of the water tanks, Nawec water tank.
Water tank?
Water tank.
I did not say that. I said we are doing the relocation of water pipes as well as Untitled Nawec and telecoms. So I showed, let me just go back. You see, this one on the left is water pipe, and on the right is electricity. That's what I've shown.
Somewhere you mentioned.
No, I said, yeah, Gamtel is for the telecoms. Nawec water and Nawec electricity is for water and electricity as well. So we have all the three services to relocate. Relocating water as well as electricity and telecom as well.
When do we get to it?
We are on it. It's in progress. If we had not done that, contractor will not have able to do anything, because all these services are within the right of way. So the service providers are here; they can bear with us.
You honorable member.
Yes, thank you. You are in the right track that you said 1990. What is the challenges that you have in these 22 roads?
The 22 kilometers.
Yes.
The challenges that we have, like I said, is getting the service located. It's happening. It's taking some time. It's a bit slow, but we'll be there hopefully very soon. Because the idea is to clear the first 7 kilometers so that the contractor can have full access of the right of way to do his works. But as we speak, we are getting close to 7. Hopefully very soon we'll get that. And once we move, we're not stopping, like I said, in the recommendations. Once we finish phase 1, which stops at Gambia, we're moving forward to finish the phase 2 as well. So that there will be nothing like we are waiting for the service providers to relocate the items.
You mean the phase 1? The phase 1 you want to finish before the summit?
That's the intent. The intent is to phase 1 to have it from Airport Junction to Senegambia Junction. So the intention is to complete phase 1 before the summit.
Oh yeah, sure. We will have that.
Okay.
Very good question from you. May I come?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Because this is a project.
Yes.
Of 22 kilometers. It was given to OIC.
Yes.
Don't you think that after finishing the first phase, then the summit took place. The other the second phase, how are you going to do about that? Because I'm making a research. Senegal and the summit, they divide for third time and the fourth time they like that. Nigeria the same time. And it's where they expand their infrastructure. Why are you in hurry of this summit?
In the issue of the summit being held or not being held, I'm not in a position to answer that, where we are in a hurry. But for me, as far as the road infrastructure is concerned, we're putting it into 2 phases, like I said, so that we put emphasis on phase 1, so that it will be done, it will be ready before the summit. But when the summit is going to be held, I am not in a position to answer. And we are not in a hurry as for us, all we need to do is get the road done and let the Gambian people benefit from it. And once phase 1 finishes, we're going on phase 2. In fact, phase 1 might finish in certain aspects of the works, and then those works will still move to phase 2. That's why I'm saying, once we finish the relocation on phase 1, we continue on phase 2. It's 24 months. That's not like you do 14 months and stop. It's 24 months in all. 14 months for phase 1, and then 10 months for phase 2. Phase 1 is 14 kilometers, phase 2 is 8 kilometers. I guess that's answered your question.
Thank you very much. Gambox is here?
Yes, Gambox.
They were here? He was here?
They were here, okay. Because Honorable Vice Chair just been attention to that. Any other question, please?
Yeah, thank you very much. My question goes to Mr. Yata. Yes, you gave us a 24 months project period, and then you say you have 90% progress at work, and then you are satisfied 90%. But the start date was not given, and then the end date also is not given. Can you please tell us the start date and the end date?
It's been given. I said effective commencement order is 1st of April, and it's 24 months.
1st of April?
Yes. He was given a provisional commencement order, but now he's been given an effective commencement order starting 1st April.
Okay, fine. Another thing was about the Gambian employees.
Yeah. They have different areas of operators, or staff on site. You have operators, you have drivers, and you also have skilled and unskilled labor as well. I don't have the numbers as per each section, how many numbers are there, but there are drivers who are there. There are also operators that are there using their graders, their bulldozers, and you name it.
So is the OIC projects only concentrated on building roads?
No.
Huh?
No.
Because given the facts of the level of congestion in our streets, especially for us living in the urban area, we haven't seen no plans of coming up with car parks.
I know for the OIC, what we have is roads. There is also an item on water. There is an item on electricity. There is also an item on the VVIP lounge. That I know. And there is a hotel as well.
Besides the type of infrastructure, is it the government or is it the OIC?
That's a bit above on me. Let me ask my guys at the ministry to answer.
Honorable member,
that is why I told you people, we will have to familiarize yourself very well with OIC project. You cannot scrutinize and perform a anything if you don't get the basics. So we will request for all of the governments, and we have a session where we understand their mandate and also their mandate. So that will be sorted out.
I have a question. The 50 roads.
50 kilometers, yes.
Yes. Is connected.
Honorable, don't jump the gun. Yes, go ahead.
I'm coming.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
It's connected to this OIC.
The 50 kilometer is part of the OIC project as well.
Very well.
Yes.
Now, after finishing the 24 months.
Yes.
Together.
No, they are going simultaneously.
But nothing is going with this other one. See,
There is some work. There is some work. Now, honorable members, can we minimize questions before we are going to be here for the rest of the day? I just want to add on to what, or ask Mr. Colley rather. Now, you said the previous evaluation was based on the 40 meters that was identified. Now, there will be re-evaluation on the 30 meters. So for me, it's like that has not been progressive for the past 5 months or so, because I want to know why that re-evaluation, because that was our slogan when we were together, re-evaluation of the 30 meters. So I don't get it why that is not still done, so that the people who are affected within that corridor can be compensated. Because my fear is if those people are not compensated, they have legal leg to drag the OIC projects, and that can make the courts put the interim injunction on the project. So I don't know why. Can you explain why that process has not been completed for the past 5 months?
Thank you very much for that question. I think I've already answered that before, but I will attempt again. Like I said, the Department of Lands are responsible for the evaluation. Currently, they're constrained in terms of manpower. That is why we are giving them time to complete the other assessment that they are doing. They are actually nationwide right now. All of our projects actually suffer from this, encouragement issues. From here to the rural, all the way up to Baden. So it's the same team that are supposed to do the evaluation for the Nyomi Hakalang, to the North Bank roads, to the 50 kilometers. In fact, they just submitted the report for the 50 kilometers about a month ago, right? And they're going now to Nyomi Hakalang to do the other bit, plus the North Bank roads. So compensation, like I said, is not really a key factor for, demolition. We are still paying for demolition for this place, Kombo Costa Road. We are still paying for it. So the fact that the assessment is done, the notices are served, they know how much they will be compensated for. Basically, that is the most important.
Okay, thank you very much. That is very, very clear. So my next question, which will be the last. I don't know whether the Ministry of Works and the OIC at any point call those properties that were affected to a meeting and explain to them this process, whether that meeting has occurred or not.
Well, that's actually being handled by the Department of Lands, because they are the ones having the notices and the like, so they will inform them. Like I said, also the funds, like I said, are already available and kept.
The funds are available?
Well, which you are aware.
Okay, thank you very much.
Does the OIC projects include also?
No, that's why I said we're going to have a session and we will know what is the mandate of OIC projects. We will do that, don't worry.
You can just tell about the 5. Okay, go ahead.
So just to help you, Honorable, to understand, the OIC projects was actually mobilized at the level of the Secretariat to define what government's requirements or infrastructure needs was going to be for hosting this conference successfully. The OIC projects is 5 components. There is the Battle Harden, which is the 22 kilometer. There is the 50 kilometer, which is 22 roads. There is the VVIP lounge at the Banjo International Airport. Then there is the utilities, which is Nawec, water and electricity. And then the last one was the hotel, the OIC hotel. Now, the 5-star hotel. So those are the 5 components. But as part of your question,
let me help you there. the 5 components, the roads are grouped as one.
Yeah.
Then you have the accommodation, which is the hotel. You have water and electricity, and you also have mobility in terms of vehicles. So that one is also part of the OIC, priority projects, the 5. So the roads are not, separated, they're all combined as one.
VVIP now.
Sorry,
Chair. No, concerning Honorable's concern about garages. Car parks, yes. Yeah, car parks.
It's not only my concern.
No, we understand. I'm coming to that. Sorry. We are ministry responsible for transport also. And under our responsibility, we are working with local council for identification of suitable areas for garages, and the process is on for acquisition of those areas to have car parks within certain areas within the but that's not under the OIC. Yes, but it's under the mandate of the ministry in collaboration with the local councils and other authorities, with Minister of Lands, for identification of suitable places and also the acquisition.
Just to add on to that, as part of the mandate, we have what we call the Road Reserve Committee, which is a committee of stakeholders that are responsible for protecting our road envelope. And as part of that, you have Ministry of Lands. It's actually led by NRA, but there are other stakeholders, including Tourism Board and others. And the councils are key because the car parks are under the councils. So one of the things that has been done previously is there was an exercise to identify land that has already been earmarked for car parks, but are not currently being used as car parks, on how we can actually make sure that the car parks which are currently close to the roads can be moved to where they should, where actually the land has been identified, to decongest the road reserve. So that is part of our mandate, but it's dealt with under the Road Reserve Committee, not under the OIC project.
But point of correction, the car parks are not under the councils, they are under the central government.
No,
the councils are not collecting car park fees. It's the central government.
No, it's handed over to council for operations.
No, Honorable. Honorable. I think the Honorable member is deviating from the topic. You understand? Why not we go on this one? From here?
Honorable member, you are right. Can we proceed with the presentation, please?
Okay. Next we go to the 50 kilometer OIC roads, that's lots 1 and 2. The project is to be executed in 2 lots entailing upgrading of 50 kilometer urban roads situated in the Greater Banjo area as well as West Coast region, with the aim of providing safe, attractive, vibrant and alternative routes during the OIC Summit 2022 and beyond. So here we have 2 color codes, one in blue and the other in red. The color codes in red are the roads in Lot 1, and the color code in blue are the roads in Lot 2. It's being funded 100% by Saudi Development, Saudi Fund for Development. Consultancy services is $3 million. Civil works is $44 million for both Lot 1 and 2. A contingency of $3 million, bringing us to a total sum of $50 million. The contracts value, the first lot is contracted to SSTP CSE Al Fahad JV. It's a joint venture of SSTP, CSE and Al Fahad. Al Fahad is a company from Saudi. CSE as well as SSTP are the joint venture partners. That is for Lot 1 at the cost of $20.9 million, and for Lot 2 at the cost of $20.4 million in a joint venture of Pavi Fort, Gambisara and Huta. Huta also is from Saudi. The consultancy, under consultancy we have the design phase as well as supervision phase. $357,000 for the supervision phase, 1.5 million, sorry, 357 for design phase, 1.5 million for supervision phase. So the planned project duration is 14 months with 12 months defect liability period. Effective commencement order was given for the civil works on 13th of December 2021. That's for the contracts for the civil works, and that of the supervisor was given on 25th September 2021. So far, 6 months have elapsed. The design speed is between 30 kilometers to 50 kilometers per hour. It's a single carriageway of 2 lanes of 3.5 meters wide. It has a shoulder of 1 meter. It has a shallow drain of 0.60 centimeters depth. It also has a principal drain varying from 1 meter to 2.3 meters. There is also an area for street lighting, that's 60 centimeter. Also an area for utilities, giving us 4.8 meter. The required right of way is 14 to 17 meters. The pavement, that is in this project we have some areas that will not have asphalt due to the areas they are. If you put asphalt, it would not last long. So we're going to have concrete pavement in 2 to 3 roads. That will give us a length of 5.36 kilometers, and the remaining 45 is going to be out of hot mill asphalt. We're going to have road furniture as well as road safety. So this is the typical cross-section type 1. This is other typical cross-section type 2. This one only shows us the shallow drains, whereby this one will have the, on the right you have the bigger drains, principal drain, and on the left you have the shallow drain. So this one is kind of a surface drain. That's the other typical cross-section. So for lot 1, the contractor is fully mobilized. He's working at P19. P19, for your information, is at Jaol Junction off Kereba Avenue, all the way to TK Motors, to the Banjo Highway. So that's P19. Works are in progress. The excavation for the pavement layers is 75% complete. 55% of the surface is complete. Drainage works also are in progress. We are at 10% and it's getting added. We also have relocation of the services, like I said. For both the Baden as well as the 50 kilometers, we have this relocation of services. We also have properties that are to be relocated, to be demolished. You could see as we go forward. So this is where we are as for the works program. The blue is planned works and the red is actual works. So we are a little bit behind schedule. As you can see, we have, there's a variance between the planned and actual works, but we hope to catch up immediately we get these relocation services done, and as well as move from the rainy season. For lot 2, the contractor has started on P20 as well as P6. P20 is the road that will branch off from Tranquil, going into Bursubi up to Willinkama. And then P6 starts from Kololi, after the Kololi police post, right to Brufut. But now he's starting works at the Brufut Junction, Brufut Gamtel, going to Brufut. That's where we are for now. Because the other end, there are properties that need to be demolished. We also have services to relocate. What we have done for the 50 kilometer is we've given a priority list for the contractors to start where there is minimal or little obstruction in terms of services as well as properties that are within the right of way. So it's based on the priority list that the contractors are working on both the lots. The sub-base is 40% complete for P20. Drainage works also have started, as well as pavement layers. Pavement layers for P6 also have started. Same for this one also, we have some delays, but we hope we will catch up. The consultant has been paid so far, because since he mobilized up to now, he's been paid 8 months. The contractor for lot 1 has been paid for the advance payment as well as IPC 1. But for the contractor for lot 2 has only been paid advance payment because he has not worked up to an amount whereby he could put in a claim for an IPC, because you need to get at least minimum of 2.5% of the contract sum in order to be paid, in order for you to put on an IPC to be paid.
Mr. Jada,
yes?
Sorry for the interruption. I didn't hear you mentioning any specific percentage to lot 1 contract and lot 2 contract. So
Mr. Chairman, I am coming.
Okay, I thought that you are.
No, I haven't forgotten, it's there. So for it might be of benefit to the National Assembly members here. that we have 1,416 properties affected in this whole entire stretch. And these properties have been valued. The properties owners have been served notices, and they also have to be compensated. We also have water pipes as well as Nawec, power lines. We also have cables also, that's the telecom. So we have all of these as obstructions in the project. Like I said, they have been notified, the property owners have been notified in terms of notices. They have been notified, I think, a month ago or so. So the challenge is, like I said, is land acquisition and relocation of services. So 45% of the project has elapsed. Slow progress of works, like Chairman has asked. We have 1.08% for lot 1 and less than 1% for lot 2. We have difficulties encountered during the frequent damage of existing utilities as the works go by. We're also looking to cover the difference between what has been earmarked in the contract, because there is a gap with regards to the relocation of services. What has been estimated and what is on the ground now, there is some difference. So we're looking at covering the difference so as to do all relocation possible before end of rainy season, so that once rainy season ceases, the works could be a bit faster. These are the recommendations that we have. The process of demolition, getting the locations done. You have to have stakeholder coordination for much smooth collaboration for the smooth progress of works. We also need to sensitize the public as to how things are going or as to where we are as of now. So this is for lot 1 progress photos. This is the contractor's mobilization. That's the contractor's camp. He has a batching plant, a concrete plant, and also some stockpile. This is his equipment, different types of equipment, graders, bulldozers, compactors, you name them. This is works on site as per lot 1. Lot 1, like I said, is the one going from, this is P19, works from Dijao Junction from Kerba Avenue going up to TK Motors. This is the drainage works. These 2 photos are on the principal drain. The one on the left is the blinding done to receive the concrete, reinforced concrete, bottom and the walls. And the one on the right is the reinforcement and having the bottom slab done for the drain. This is the relocation of services that has been done, or some of the services that we encounter whilst we were working. You could see on the right hand side, there's water ponding and you could see some pipe. The other one on the left hand side, they're trying to get the pipes repaired and then gradually we have to get it shifted. This is the, you could see the still existing utilities that have been repaired. This is for lot 2, the contractor also has mobilized. The left is his asphalt batching plant. On the right is his front loaders, one of the equipment. On the left you have the concrete mixer trucks. On the right you have the asphalt paver and other equipment used for the project. This is also works on site on P20. This is also the drainage works on P20 as well. The one on the left is the one getting the concrete base, the bottom slab for the drain being concreted, and the one on the right is the formwork complete for the side walls. This is also the utilities relocation and the ones that are met on site. Once works are going, you could see a mesh on the right hand side. That's this warning mesh for the campaign utilities. Then underneath you could also have a pipe, as you could see. These are the challenges we are facing. For that, we are done for the 50 kilometers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jade, for your wonderful presentation. Now, I have a few questions before I open the floor to honorable members. You have captured fully mobilized for all your contractors. Yes. Are you sure all these contractors are fully mobilized?
Yes, they are. What's needed as for mobilization in terms of equipment
why I ask this question?
Okay.
Are you expecting 1% progress from SSTP and less than 1% progress from the other one at this stage of the contract execution? Is this your estimation?
No, it's not. Like I said, as I said I showed on the maps, I said we are behind schedule. I did say that. we are not expecting we should be far from where we are now.
What is your percentage expectation at this stage of development?
At least we should be more than 10%.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So this
but you could also see that we have problems. I'm not here to support the contractor, but let's say it as it is. You could see we have problems with services. We have water services. Yes, we have water services in all of these roads. We also have properties that are affected. That's why we have given the contractor a priority list whereby we will start with the roads that are less problematic in terms of space.
So in other words,
yeah,
you want this committee to believe lack of delivery and performance by the contractor is because of relocation of services?
No, I'm not saying that, but it's part of the issues why we are this behind. I'm just explaining. I'm not, like I said, I'm not supporting the contractor, but we also have to say things as they are. We have services that need to be relocated.
This is very, very serious. Honorable members, I don't know whether you guys have paid attention to what the explanation. According to the presenter, Mr. Jada, contract execution now should be like 10%, but none of the contractors is even up to 1%. One of the contractors is less than 1%, which is very worrying. So he went further to say is because of lack of relocation of services on the road. That is why the contractors could not deliver. That is one part of it. So we want you to give us all the reasons why the contractors are not up to 10% at the moment. If you cannot do it now, you have chance to submit such report. Because as I said, we will go over this report later. That's going to be next week. We will go over this report and inform ourselves very, very well. But as of now, what you said is very, very worrying. Less than 2% performance by all the contractors. That one is a very, very, very serious concern. Now, another thing I have is, were you able to achieve 14-meter right of way for all the 50 kilometer of roads? Do you achieve all of these 40 meters right of way on all of them, or some a little bit lesser than that?
Yeah, like I said, if you look at the figure, we have 1,416 properties that are affected. This is why I say we've had a priority list, starting with the ones that are less congested. If you look at P20, that's from off the Congo Coastal Road going to Willinkama. It's wide enough for the contractor to work on. That's why he's starting on that. You go to P19, it's the same thing. There are certain roads you cannot do anything without having to clear the properties, and then you move the services off the right of way.
Yeah, that is very, very, very true.
Yeah.
But for me, I think there is a problem with project management. Because this is something we've been echoing on and on and on and on. Relocation of services well before the contracts were awarded. It means at one point this relocation of services was stopped. Nobody was doing anything about it. Because otherwise, at least there should be some progress. If that is going to be the only reason that is putting the contractors not to perform 10% of, then I will repeat myself again. That is very, very worrying, and I think we will need to do something about that. Still, you refer me to the Department of Lands to do the evaluation, right?
We have, like I said, we've done the evaluation, and we've served the property owners demolition notices.
So the what is now holding? The relocation of who's awarded that contract to legal services?
No, what happened is we've worked jointly with NAWEC, and we've identified all the services that are affected, and of recent we've signed contracts with subcontractors to do the relocation of water, as well as electricity, and Gamtel as well, and telecoms as well. So we're going to do the relocation as per the priority list as well. If my colleagues have something to add on, they can.
Yeah. Yes, Mr.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I think it's important to note for the committee that we are having some challenges.
Yeah. My attention has been called by the clerk that people who did not take oath are giving testimony. We are finding it very, very confusing actually.
We did ask the question.
Clark? I think we are just clarifying.
Just clarifying, yeah. We're just
clarifying.
You allow them also. Honorable, thank you very much. If you want us to give chance to that, move a motion.
I move a motion. Whoever has a vital information, give it out to the members. Yes, without taking oath.
I am also contacted by the clerk, that is not the order. We are all confident about
but we need information.
Yeah, but you need information. That's why you need to take one before you give information.
Okay, then, let's go by the procedure.
Yeah, let's go by the. If you want to speak, you take oath, please.
It's okay. It's not a problem. Bring and we give you take oath and we move on. It's not a problem. Yes, yes. It's okay. Call it. Come here. We take oath. Come here. Let's start. Yes. Three of us will all take oath.
I, Usman Sise. I, Usman Sise. Do affirm that. I will speak the truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. So help me God. I, Matar Sise. Do affirm that. I will speak the truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Yes, yes. It's okay.
I, Ibrahim Akoli. Do affirm that. I will speak the truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Clark, for administering that oath affirmation. So can we start from DPS or? Yes, Mr. Matar.
Yes, I was just trying to explain for the benefit of the honorable members that as my colleague George was actually reporting there is slow progress in relation to what is actually achieved on the ground compared to the plan. But there is a combination of factors. The first one is that the lack of urban planning in our urban settings is a challenge because it makes our roads very expensive to construct, and also it causes a lot of disruption. For the 20 kilometers, in particular, the 20 roads, in particular the 50 kilometers, there is a huge challenge with regards to utilities because initially no one knows where the utilities are. So sometimes there is a lot of instances where it's until when you start the works that you can actually know where these utilities are, and it also affects how much is set aside for utility diversions, because when we actually plan these projects, we estimate, but when we start the works, we realize that the quantity of utility diversions that need to take place, especially things like water, like Gamtel, when you start digging, then you discover them. So we actually realize that also there's a constraint on the budget, because what was initially planned for and what is actually realized, obviously there's an increase in that. The other thing too is that also the way the properties are, because there's a right of way. But as he explained, we have discovered that a lot of these roads are affected by the property encroachments or the lack of a defined right-of-way. And also that demolition exercise has a process to follow, because the mandate is with Department of Lands. They do a survey, they assess the properties, and then they serve notice. In serving that notice, there is a statutory period, like a cooling off period, under which when the notice is served, which is about 21 days, after which, once the notice is served, then we can start demolition. Like he was saying, that has come to an end now, so it allows us to be able to start the demolition. But prior to doing that, we cannot start any demolition. So these are some of the things that are actually delaying the access to some of these roads. Having said that, there is also a need on the roads that are already provided, because we can only provide limited roads that have no diversions or are not significantly impacted. And those roads are the two roads that you talk about, P19, and there was one
P6,
in
P20.
Yeah, and P20. So out of 20 roads, it's about 3 that we have only been able to start with. So that also means that, again, there is progress on the slow progress on the side of the contractors, which we have obviously identified as a way of actually trying to make sure that we manage to increase their productivity. But ideally, if we could have had access to all these 20 roads, I think that we would have made better progress. But unfortunately, there's only 3 that we are able to access at the moment out of the 20 roads. That's also another constraint.
Let me add. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Secondly, also in relation to the delay of work, like he stated, there are a lot of factors. But first, the processes have to be followed. First, we have also the challenge on the issue of the land right. Quarries that were identified sample need to be brought to the lab to be tested to confirm that they meet the required quality before work could start. Then those processes take some time before actual work could take off. But as we speak now, the mobilization is completed, quarries have been identified, the samples were tested, and now the major part of the relocation of services, which have to first start with the demolition. Notice have been served. When the statutory period elapsed, then the contractor will demolish, and then Nawec will also have the access to the areas to move the services, both water and electricity, off the right of way. Then these processes, like he stated, like the urban planning challenge as a country has manifested really. And we have to understand one thing: we are not building road in the bush. We are building these roads now in areas that people have already settled for decades now. Then the process, even with the notice now, every day we are receiving protest letters from compound owners that my area has been. Then the process is on, but we know that, like, as we speak now, the rainy season is also here now. But like the way the situation is now, things are already in place for a proper takeoff to start. All the bottlenecks that have caused the delay have all been sorted out now.
Okay, Honorable Vice Chair.
Thank you very much. With regards to progress at work, Mr. Jata, coming to Java down to TK Motors, is there any demolition of compound around that area?
No.
Okay, fine. There's only like demolition of compound around that area. So it's like just a starting point and then they move ahead.
No.
I'm just allow me to come in. So what are your problems within that area? What are your problems within that area?
Like I said, we have services. You could see the photo I showed on lot 1. We have services need to be relocated.
Okay, and then who is responsible? Is it the contractor or your part?
The location of services is under the contractor's contract. But through the service providers, they also there to confirm that, to give support and confirm whichever contractors we're going to have, and whatever works they do, the service providers also have to attest that the works are okay. So obviously we've signed works for the relocation of service for both lots. I think for lot 1 first, lot 2 I'm yet to confirm that it has been signed. But as of last week, we are told by this week they will sign the contract for the relocation of services. But for lot 1, it's already been signed for P19.
So the contract is signed with the subcontractor?
Pardon me?
The contract is signed with the subcontractor?
Yes. It's a subcontractor for water, for example, that has been also nominated by Nawec. We have subcontractors that are in town, and we work with Nawec on those bases. And we also be doing this work in collaboration with Nawec for water as well as electricity. Even for telecoms, we also do it in collaboration with Gamtel. We are not doing it alone.
Yeah, I think the problem started somewhere during the project design and the scope of work. We would have been giving into different phases. The contractor take care of the roads in terms of looking, but as far as there are other parties that employ it, we have been giving those parties to take care of it. Why the contractor is also doing this, they have been no source of the delay. Because now it's like two parties come together. So contracting you will survive by Nawec, and at the end of the day, it caused delays. Because now we are not saying that there are less than 0%, 1%, say, or less than 2%. So who do we blame now? Because the contractor is saying that I am waiting for you to give me authority, or I am waiting for you to clear me to start work. You cannot seem to blame on the contractor. Because the contractor is waiting for you to give me the clearance to start work. So you cannot give him that ranking as 1% to say he's the one doing the work.
No, but what we said, the 1% or the 0.5% is as a physical progress.
Yeah, this one, but physical progress. To me, if you say it's 1%, yeah. I'm still blaming the contractor, not you the client.
Why?
No, you already contacted me already.
Yes, but it is in the contractor's contract that he is responsible for the relocation of services.
Yeah, but so why? I mean, he's not doing that, but being only giving clearance.
No, in fact, what I'm finding is what is stopping me confused. It's like the level of progress is from not the contractor. This is what I am able to use during this interaction. It's like, in fact, the contractors are ready, fully mobilized, giving, waiting us to give them, there's a green light to go. This is what I'm finding so confused. It's like the contract is not progressing because we have a problem with project management. No. Is that the case?
Sorry, may I come in? Good afternoon. No, my boss won't cover me. Good afternoon to you all.
Yes. I just wanted to respond to Yes, okay. Regarding whether we could have prioritized the relocation of services. Remember, the way the funding is actually structured. You can only access those funds once you recruit a contractor on the ground. So, unless the government actually set aside funds for the relocation of services. In fact, as last week, we've already concluded now. Before we do any other project like this, we'll make sure that all the services are relocated first before we then, work on this project. If not, we'll go through the same process or the same problems over and over.
So, currently, the funds are not available.
No, the funds are
during the time of the contract. During the time of the site. Yes. So now it's not being a contractor now.
No, but I think what he's explaining is that.
I will explain very well. Yeah. No, so, anyway.
So, Mr. College is saying you guys agree at the next project, instead of going into full-fledged implementation, the relocation service will be. That's a very good way forward.
But Mr. Chair, I think it's important to know that even that approach, it means that when we want to deliver road projects in this country, it's going to take a long time.
Yes.
Longer than usual, because if you want to go and say, let's do the demolition first, because you have to do demolition to create new space for the services to go.
Then you look at it.
Then you divert the services. Then you go and get a contractor come and do the road projects. That is also going to result in the same effect, whereby we are going to have a long period to build roads. The way to mitigate this and deal with it is to have an urban policy. The way our settlements are being developed, we need to cater to some of these things in advance and make sure that the utilities and the buildings are properly set, so that when we have development, when we build the roads, the space is already available. That is the only way that, otherwise we're going to spend more money and more time in building our roads.
I don't think anyone agree with you on that. But now look at the situation, the condition.
Well, if I come back to the same point again, before any contract awarded, there are no feasibility study. You go and do all your measurement analysis, set design. Whilst you are on doing, you know the scope of the contract, the length and the breadth of the road. So by doing so, you know where it is affected. So while doing that, no, you can't say no like that.
Okay, go ahead. I'm not talking to you.
Why on the forest? Certain things can come up unknowingly, like night fires causing A, B, C, and the equipment is always responsible. So, but while on that project, on that process, I think it is very important to know to always try to protect the other side of the contract. That's the contractor and the party who is responsible for A, B, C, and the contractor.
That's noted, but I think we are not blaming, we are not pushing blames here. That's why the presenter talk about the progress of the project. And project composed of both the contractor and the other players.
Yeah, when you see progress here, we still blame on the contractor.
No, not our, not our.
Not you, not your group, but yeah, I mean.
Yes.
Yes.
No, you people who are contractors. You.
Yeah, exactly.
No, let me look up. We are also honorable members. That is what you people are saying. But it cannot be a confrontation between you. No, let me come. I want to come. You are already about the contractors down there. You are my council member now.
Honorable member.
I'm coming. No, I'm going to be. I don't know. Give us the facts. Not them. He's an honorable member now. He's not a contract. Don't see him as contract.
I'm not talking as a contractor.
No, yes. You come on. I'm also listening.
I'm just trying to.
Honorable member, I want to close that conversation if you don't mind. Now, Madam, you talk about open policy. How will this urban policy work within these already overcrowded urban centers? Or you're talking about areas that are developing? We come up with this policy, talking about this already overcrowded urban center. How do this policy work? Because definitely, it's the intention of this committee to come up with a lot of progressive policies as far as infrastructure development of this country is concerned. If this is feasible, I think it's responsible of the Ministry of Works to come out with it, and we're going to support it. But how is it feasible now? Can you give us an idea about it?
Yeah, so urban policy involves us being able to have a master plan of our development. To be able to look at our urban settlements and see how we obviously zone our developments. Because, for example, I know you're saying that we already have properties that have already encroached on the right of way. But you also have to realize that as development takes place, these properties are only going to be upgraded. So today you might have a bungalow there, but tomorrow you will have a 3-story building. Yeah. It's going to be more difficult to demolish the 3-story building once it's done there, after the road has been built, than to demolish the bungalow that's there today. So this is why I'm saying that it's very important for us to look at our network and see where do we plan to upgrade and build new highways. And it's easier to tackle the problem now than for us to live in the next 5-10 years. And then we go there and then for example, on the Battle Harden, we have just started the Battle Harden project. But you can see the unprecedented development that is taking place on the Battle Harden, especially lands from Olyundum coming towards Sunchu and Skuta that were just left there and unoccupied. All of them are now actually trying to get ahead of the development and build buildings to take advantage of the new road that is coming. So this is part of what I'm saying is like, yeah, it's a challenge, but it's better for us to try and see how we can. And yes, we have been working on this, and that's why I was saying that we have a road reserve committee. But the mandate for planning is with Ministry of Lands, and they have that overriding responsibility when it comes to such. They issue building permits, they actually demarcate the lands for development. But we are working with them because they're also part of this committee, along with likes of TDA and others, so that we can try and make sure that we set policies that help to realize this.
So thank you very much. If we want to move to other presentation now, more questions will be raised when the honorable members get these documents from you. We will send you questions by way of documentation and send to the ministry. So I think before we waste more time, let's proceed to the other presentation. Thank you. I'll move to the Nyomi Academy. So in Nyomi Academy we have it as you could see in the plan. We have the one starting at Kuntai.
Go on.
Starting from Bunyado to Kuntaya, we also have Abril to Fas Omar Saho, and we also have we have it in 3 sections. Buffalo to Bengali, that's the third one. So it's Section A, like I said, is Bunyado to Kuntaya, it's 55 kilometers. Section plus A1 and 1A and 1B. Now Section 2 is Abril to Fas Omar Saho, which is 15 kilometers, and Section 3 is Bengali to Medina Buffalo, which is 13.7 kilometers. It has a total length of 84.5 kilometers. The contracting authority is the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure. NRA is the executive agency. The consultant is PACE, Pan Arab Consulting Engineers, in joint venture with Camex, a Gambian consultancy firm. The contractor is CSE. It is 100% funded by government of the Gambia for both contractor as well as consultant. The works value is almost 1.3 billion. The supervision is 69 million. Contract duration is 26 months, as well as the the supervision contract. The effective commencement order was given October 28, 2020. Time has elapsed of 19 months, 70% of the time has been consumed.
That's the specification. The cross-section is 7 meters carriageway of, it's a single carriageway, 3.5 meters on either lane. It has 1.5 meters shoulders outside the villages, inside the villages, sorry. 1.5 meters shoulder outside the villages and 2 meters shoulder inside the villages. It's going to be of double surface dressing. It's going to have road furniture, bus stops, guardrails, and the rest of it. We're going to have improved road safety at public amenities like schools, hospitals, and at chapels. The works is so far not up to the forecasted time. The General Works Program has been given what is obsolete as of March this year, so we have to look at it again and get another works program that we feel it's good and it's achievable. So this is the overall up to date. So we are at 46% progress as regards to the time of 70%. This has been paid so far. The contractor has submitted 8 IPCs, interim payment certificate, we call it IPC, amounting to 421 million. This gives 32% of the contract value. We also have some obstructions, but not much. We have it in section 2. And then we also have the, like my colleague has said, we have the guys from Lands Office to come and value the properties that are affected in section 2. That's the road from Albania to Fas Omasao, the first kilometer. That's where we have properties. Exactly, it's from 00 to 0+300. That's where we have properties only affected in this whole 85 kilometers. We've got the lands guys come and do the valuation. Very soon they will submit the valuation report, and then we'll take it up from there with regards to the other processes in terms of serving the notices and demolition. We have also have an ESIA done. We have employment. That employment, out of the 164 employed, 122 are local workers around that end. We also, like, under the engineers, we have 3 experts and 2 Gambians. We have a deputy resident engineer who also is a Gambian and a female. We also have technicians, amongst which we have male and female. We also have Gambian technicians who are also working on this project. The major challenge we have is the availability of base material. Base is the last paving layer that you put on the road prior to you putting priming or prior to you putting the concrete work, concrete, if it's a reinforced concrete road. So we have problem with getting the sub-base and base materials because the haulage distance is a bit far, and we're working on trying to see if you would stabilize it using sand as opposed to cement, because cement will be on the high side, or we could do the stabilization to increase the strength of the material, because the CBR of these two layers, the materials that we have are low. So this is progress works on site. This is on the left is the priming. It's already been primed. We're putting the bitumen layer so as to put asphalt basalt tippings on it. Like I said, it's a double surface dressed road. It's not like what we have in Banjo to Serakunda, which is asphalt. So that's done for Hakalang.
Can we proceed with your other presentation?
Okay. This one is the
sorry, Mr. Jara, honorable members have to take note of your questions, right? So I just want us to proceed to, that will be your last presentation.
No, this one is North Bank, lots 1 and 2.
Okay.
And then there is Kiang, your area. And there is
West Kiang?
Yeah, Kiang West Roads.
Okay.
And there is also road maintenance.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, do all the presentations, please.
I do all?
Yeah, exactly.
Good. So in the North Bank roads, we also have 2 lots. Lots 1 and 2. We have Kawur to Jimbala, section 3. Kawur to Kenjen to section 5. KTB to Bati, section 6. And Chairman to Nyangbatang, section 8. That's on lot 2. And on lot 1 we have Sabasukoro to Bambali. We also have Ngen Sanjal to Sarakunda. So the lengths are as follows. Sabasuko to Bambali is 29 kilometers. Ngen Sanjal to Sarakunda is 8 kilometers. Sabah Ngayen is 1 kilometer. There is also an addendum on lot 1. And on the addendum we have these roads listed as I have written. We have Sabah Ngayen 1 kilometer, Sabah Ngayen another 1 kilometer. We have Ngayen Sanjal to Old Man Road. In total, what we have as an addendum is 16.5 kilometers. All these roads listed below, you add them, you give us 16.5. So in total, in lot 1, we have 54 kilometers. In lot 2, we have 48 kilometers, and it's Kau to Jimbala, Kau to Kerchendu, Kertibi to Bati, and Chairman to Nyangubanta. All these 4 added give us 48 kilometers. And this is the lot that CSC is doing, and lot 1 RSK is doing it. So this is the general description of the road, just like the Hakalang. It's single carriageway with shoulders on either side. It has a design speed minimum of 60 to a maximum of 100 outside the towns and inside the villages. And in the villages we have 40 kilometers across villages. The contracting order is Ministry of Works. NRA is executing the project. Pan-Arab Consulting Engineers and Gamex are the consultants. And the contractors, like I said, for lot 1 is RSK and for lot 2 is CSC. It's 100% funded by government, and these are the contract details. I've said earlier up to that. So duration is 16 calendar months for the contractor and 18 for the resident engineer. It has this cost, and commencement order was given as of 1st of January last year. It's 100% funded by government, like I said. This is for contract information for lot 1. It's RSK, the duration is 16, but because of the addendum, 6 months is added. It's now 22, and the total cost is 1.12 billion. Commencement order was given also as at 1st January last year. CSC is the contractor for lot 2, and these are the contract details at a sum of $853 million. Effective commencement order was given 1st of January last year as well. The contract duration is 16 months. So that's the financial situation of the contracts for both CSC and RSK. Contractor has been paid 4 IPCs, and then for lot 1 and for lot 2, the contractor has been paid 3 IPCs. This is progress for lot 1. It's also double surface dressing. That's the compaction of the basalt chippings on the prime surface. That's the progress as per the overall the planned progress and achieved progress by chart. So you here where we are. In lot 1, we are almost completing. We are at 99%. Duration of time is 72%. We still have some properties to sort out, and of which the remaining works will be done. These are photos to show progress for lot 1, as well as these ones. Also in lot 1, this is surfacing. This is drainage works that we're doing also in lot 1. So the challenges we have some properties also that are affected. And we also have a problem in getting the road furniture. The contractor has got his equipment at the port, the materials for the road furniture, but is having it difficult to clear it, so as to finish the works. This is for lot 2. That's the plan works and the actual progress. These are the photos of progress on the artworks, on the pavement layers, on the drainage structures. We have a series of culverts on this road as well. And there we are. So I'll move to Kian, where chairman is from. So I continue. Chairman, may I continue?
Why are you so special?
No, but I know he's from Kia.
Why are you so special?
There is no specialty in this.
I'm not even from that part of Kia.
Yeah, but you are from Kia. Okay, thank you. This one is on the Kiang West roads. Sankandi Karantaba is part of the Kiang West rural roads. Sankandi Karantaba is phase 1. The other phase will begin immediately. We have considerable progress, above at least 80% of phase 1. So phase 1 is from Sankandi to Karantaba. Then phase 2 will have the other roads adjoining Sankandi Karantaba. It's a total of 87 kilometers, but so far we're doing only 39 kilometers. So as you could see, it starts from Sankandi at 00 and ends at Karantaba. And these are the villages it comes across, from Jifarong to Karantaba. And these are their changes of each village, what their locations are. The scope of works is also like the other 2 roads mentioned. It's going to be a single carriageway with road shoulders. It's also going to have road furniture as well. It's going to be double surface dressed. It's going to have road shoulders as well as all the other pavement items like the furniture items alluded to earlier. It's 100% funded by the government. Ministry is the contracting authority and NRA is the implementing agency. The consultant is Gambian, based at Kereba Avenue as the address. It's called Cityscape Associates. The contractor is also Gambian, Guy Construction House at Kanifing. It's 100% funded by government, like I said. So, like I said, we have 2 phases. Phase 1 is 349 million and phase 2 is 875 million. You might ask why the difference. In phase 1, we have only 2 layers to do and the surfacing. But in phase 2, we are starting from scratch, from the subgrade to the rest of it. And commencement order was given 16th August last year. So that's the consultant details. It's at Kereba Avenue. They also started since August last year. And the cost for consultancy for both phases is almost $75 million, 74.7. The planned progress is 80%, and we have achieved 61%. We are down by 19 percentage points. As you could see in this in the table, the artworks is still not completed. The pavement layers is still not completed. The safety is ongoing. As you could see, general summary of progress 61 as against forecasted of 80. We have ongoing site activities and we also have constraints. One of our constraints is getting bitumen from Senegal because of the issue of using kerosene. We've been made to understand the contractor has also written to inform us that he's having problem to source bitumen from Senegal to use for the priming as well as the putting on the double surface layer. This is works on site, what we've achieved so far. This is the base on the left hand side is compacted. On the right hand side is the base being primed from kilometer 2 to kilometer 3. That is the double surface layer being applied in both photos. This is where we have the contractor stockpile of basalt. The other side is the stockpile of bitumen. That's the right hand side photo. And that's done, and we are now on the road maintenance. That's the last part of the presentation. We have Farato Jambu, that is 5.2 kilometers, the progress at 70%. We have Bunjur Access Road plus Kunkujang Mariama and the shoulders rehabilitation from Birkama to Mandadaba. It's very low, it's at 18%. And we also have sections on Soma Base, as well as Pakaning Soma, and then Kerawan Jawara. It's at 75%. What we have remaining in this lot, which is lot 3, is works on Kerawan Jawara. So this is what we have also on road maintenance. We have concrete works at Colomba Road, that's Dipakunda. We have Bakode Slow, we have Birkama Garage. We also have NDC, Lamy NDC bypass. These ones are also ongoing, but very soon they'll be completed. They've been contracted to these contractors, and you can see the progress on the extreme right hand of the table. That's 89%, 99%, 85%, and 70%. We also have signed contracts for construction of Bani Salekene Jabakunda. It's 17 kilometers. We also have signed the contract for construction of Bufur Mariana Banyaka to Kunkubra Mariama. We also have the surfacing of Soma Pasir Highway precisely from Kudang to Bansa, a length of 60 kilometers. The contractors have started their mobilization and we hope to start very soon. These are some of our challenges, and the recommendations are there. And I say thank you very much for attending.
That's the end of your presentation, right?
Yes, sir. I'm done.
Yeah, for roads, right?
For roads, yes. Under the ministry, as well as OIC, yes.
So we are left with big institutions now. With building component. Okay. Okay. So, honorable member, do you ask your questions now? Hmm?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I
Not
know
many
your
questions.
is mentioned, so you want But honorable member, can we be very brief so that?
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, again.
Yeah, honorable Cham, go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, again. Mr. Jata,
yes.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Job well done.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. I know you are intact. My apology to everybody for what happened during the first segment. Definitely. I'm apologizing to everyone. And my apology again for the long day. I know you people are busy. So, Mr. Jata.
Yes, sir.
Only one question.
Okay.
From that is the Hackland Group,
Yeah.
which I am from.
Okay.
Any possibility to know that is the feeder roads you've mentioned, from where to where, the feeder roads are from where to where?
We have, like I said, we have from Bunyadu to Kuntaya.
Bunyadu to Kuntaya.
Yes, we have Alfreda.
That is called a feeder road.
No, it's the road, amongst the road that we're doing.
Oh, okay.
It's a total of 84.5 kilometers.
Okay.
So in this we have 3 sections. We have Alfreda, we have Bunyadu to Kuntaya.
Okay.
We have Alfreda to Fas Omar Sao. We have Bangali to Bafuloto.
Right.
So these 3 added together will give you 84.5
Right.
kilometers, yes.
So any feeder roads?
Of which ones?
That means when I say feeder roads,
Yeah.
that is maybe those are what you've mentioned is the highway. That is
Yeah.
the highway. Any feeder roads going to the villages.
Because
You only carry lines. You show
Can I show you the map?
No, you show not the map.
Yeah, the question is,
yes.
This is from Nyomi.
Yes.
Is there any other field around this construction?
That's right. If he doesn't tell me whether this one is, you know me, I'm from Banjo. I don't know Nyomi very well.
You want new routes? Thank you.
Honorable member, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
This is what I said before. These documents will be difficult to us, and
Right.
we will do it more. You understand?
Right. Thank you very much. I would appreciate that.
Like I said, we have only these three.
Okay.
These three, like I've also said, the longest one is Bunyadu to Kuntai.
Okay.
Then Alberta it branches off to Fast Omasao. And then we also have from Bangali going to Buffalo. So these are the three we have.
Three, okay.
Yes.
The only question that I have again,
Yeah.
any lightning system within those roads?
So far, for us it's only the roads. Maybe Nawec can say something about that. But for us it's only the road. Nawec is here. Maybe they might have something to say.
Rural electrification project.
Yes, maybe they might have something to say.
I am not on that one.
For us it's only the road. Maybe Nawec can answer that.
He's not on that one.
Then I will leave that question with Nawec, okay? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, for giving me the floor. The question that I would like to ask is to this famous road, Hakalang.
Yes.
I could remember when our committee visited that road, it was terrible. So when it came to the National Assembly, we approved it. But I'm sure it's just about to be completed, I know. But it's not yet.
No, not yet.
It's not yet.
No.
And have you been receiving complaints from the beneficiaries regarding erosions?
So far, no.
Because wherever development is coming, it also comes.
It's true, but so far, not to my knowledge. I haven't received anything yet.
Yeah. The communities are not complaining that when the roads,
Because we have our consultant still on the ground there.
Yeah.
In the consultancy also, it might interest you to know that we have both ministry staff as well as another staff there. So if there are any issues, it is brought to their notice and they inform us. But so far we haven't got any.
Honorable member, for Joshua.
Thank you very much. On the Nyomi Hakalang Road, amount paid is 32%. So the 32% been paid.
Yes.
And the progress is 46% as per your explanation.
Yes.
What is the cause of the delay with regards to the road at the moment? Because currently it seems there is no work going on now. Because I left there yesterday, but there is no work going on. What's the problem?
There is some works going on, but it is slow.
But
It is slow.
But it's like
if you might want to know, we have the consultant has asked the contractor not to process any base layer without getting basalt chippings stockpile. Because you cannot get the base done. The reason why we are not getting that much of progress, because you cannot get the base done and you leave it open. It's going to open to cracks and all that. And then when you come and seal it, it's not going to take long. So we have issues with getting supplies of basalt chippings for both the concrete structures, that's the culverts, and maybe the culverts and the iris crossings, as well as doing the sealing. So as well as we don't have basalt on the ground, the consultant has asked the contractor not to go beyond some grade layer.
So it's like 32% is being paid and 46% is for that. Are you going to contractor based on that, or the money is paid when the product is by basalt chipping?
No,
So
no, we
with
okay.
regards to the solution, can you please kindly pay attention on that area? Because I have just checked yesterday, none of the people complaining from that area. Can you put emphasis on the solution, please?
Can you please share those complaints so that we also know what's
What
happening?
I'm saying is, if you look at the road, while you are driving, feel that there is still going to happen development pressure on the road. As you like you mentioned, can you put a foot on us behind it? I mean, I'm just from there yesterday and I observed those things. But can you pay attention on that?
Yeah, those issues, I think we also have noted that and working on getting that remedied. Yeah.
Yeah. In addition to this question, so
My apologies. My apologies. My apologies. Go ahead.
Okay. You have said in your presentation, and Mr. Cisse also has justified, like the existing services we have, which is costing billions, like for the Greater Banjo area,
yes,
the urban settlements.
Yes.
So have you drawn lesson now? Do you think it's about time to identify those services such as waterborne pipes, to have something to indicate that underneath here there is a waterborne pipe or there is a fiber optic cable?
Yeah, we do that when you know there are certain. It's sad to say, like my colleague Director Cisse has said, there are certain roads you will not know where these services are unless and until you dig. Once you put in an excavator in, before you know maybe the water has gushed up. That's the time you know there is water there. It's difficult to tell you this is where we have the water pipe, or even if there's a water pipe, what size is it? Some areas you can easily tell, but certain areas you can't. That's why you also could see from the photos that we're working and we are getting interrupted with the services. It's high time, like my colleague has said, that we have an urban planning, whereby all of these things will be factored in.
That's not my question. My question is now that
Yes,
you are relocating these services.
yes,
So don't you think also it will be ideal
Mhm.
to have an indication that
yes. Once we get these services relocated, we have what we call as-built drawings. So these as-built drawings will have coordinates telling you at this point we have water, or you have electricity, or you have telecom. So we have as-built drawings when we do that.
and how do you intend to do it?
Pardon me?
Just so I understand in the, for example, you are talking about this road, some distance, or Mr. Cisse said, do you have any collaboration, like the National Roads Authority, the Highway Authority, you are the Highway Authority, like you want to construct a road in a community, do you consult with the local councils? Because in the Act, Local Government Act, it states that there should be a relationship between the local roads authorities, which is the local councils, and the highway authority in identifying roads to be constructed. Do you involve them, or do you have any kind of harmonized relationship with them?
As far as I know, we have not had any discussions with the council in terms of collaborating in roads. I know what NRA does as of now is to give technical assistance in terms of the roads that they are doing, especially at Brikama. They have got some roads being done, of which NRA is giving technical assistance in terms of helping design and supervise the roads that they are doing. But we collaborate with the service providers whenever we have roads to do. And maybe we will ask them, where do we have the services? Or at times we even have to put docks for future expansion. That we do.
Mr. Jada?
Yes?
Thank you very much. You want to remember, I think Mr. Jada mentioned, I think before you do any project, you do social and environmental impact assessment.
We do, yeah.
What the group member wants to say. I think that's what you do. Anyway, for us to close this session, I commend the government for coming out with the initiative for local funding. This is something that has not been happening in this country for a very long time. That's why I'm very mindful of the progress, the percentage progress. Even though Hakalan should be 70, but now 46, it's not very, very bad. As I said, we will request for all of these documents, and the committee is going to inform themselves very, very adequately. Then we will come out with adequate actions on the way forward. And then on that, we also do the rollout. I think sometime in July. We will visit Hakalan is one of our priorities. Right now, let's stop it here until the documents are submitted to us, where we are going to interact on it 100%. Then later we will act, and also we will visit the road physically. Then we will call people back when we interact again. Now we proceed with Nawec.
Sorry. No, hold on. The building component.
The building component. Okay.
Yeah, we'll just do a quick one.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the building projects, we'll just give you a quick overview of the projects that we are currently working on. We'll probably start off with the one which is closest to here, which is the thank you. So we'll start off the one that's closest to where we are currently, which is the Sadara Miscellaneum project that we are actually constructing just behind the National Assembly. That is a project that we started last year that has been ongoing. It's a $25 million project. It involves constructing a mausoleum which will actually exhibit the best works of the former president, and it would also honor him. We have made significant progress. The superstructure is actually completed, so all the concrete works are done. We are now moving into the final phases of doing the finishing. One of the challenges that we're having there is to do with the issue at the port, because now we have the glass that surrounds the structure itself, which has been imported from Turkey. We also have the elevator or the lift that goes into the building, because it's a story building that has also been imported from Turkey. But because of logistical challenges in getting materials into the country, that has been slightly delayed. But last time we started the contract, the materials are in the port, and we are expecting for it to be released shortly. We are currently scheduled to actually complete that project by August, end of August. That is our target date. But it's also subject to, like I said, the finishing, which is important. The other projects that we also have that are ongoing is the market project, which is the Basse and the Berkama market. Last year, the Basse market was completed and successfully inaugurated. We have added a small component of roads to do a concrete road that links the old market to the new building. That is currently work that we are doing in conjunction with Gamworks, and that work has started and is ongoing. Basically, significant progress has been made on that. The idea behind it is to make sure that the market is integrated. This is something that was started towards the end of last year in November. In Berkama market, again, the market is going very well. We have been working, because again, similar to what I was saying about the car parks, the markets also are under the control of the councils. So we work very closely with them to make sure that that project also, that they are actually getting what they actually expect from that project. So that's a $35 million project. Again, the project is actually achieved substantial completion, so the majority of the project is done. We're due to do a technical inspection in the next week, after which, if everything is signed off, then we will actually be looking to do an inauguration and hand over that project. So the Berkama market will shortly be handed over.
Sorry, Madam, did you just say you handed over the project to the area council? Is that what you said?
No, I said the markets are under the purview of the councils. So we work with the councils when we are building the market to make sure that because we have a team, we have a project steering committee where the councils are represented by the CEO and the chairman, and they form part of the project committee.
Okay, thank you very much. Like, sorry, like when that happened, you guys do a project, and the project is under purview of a specific institution. How do you guys hand over that project? Because from record, I realized that the president handed over that project to the governor. So I don't know what was the stand of the ministry. You actually advised the president on this, or you just gave him the keys and he decided to give it to anybody who wants?
No, like I say, with all the markets that we work with, because it's the once the work, from a building perspective, once it's completed, it's the councils that then take up the responsibility of operations and maintenance of the market. So we work with them as part of stakeholders to make sure that during the implementation of that project, they have a say. And in all the markets that we have done, we have had representation from both the CEO and the chairman of all the councils, Basse and Berkama likewise. And once the project is completed, then we as a ministry hand it to the executive. Then it's the executive that then does the inauguration, and like you say. But as a project, we make sure that they have a say in the project implementation.
Okay, thank you. So that's the end of the presentation.
No, so the other projects that we also have that are actually ongoing is the ministry is also leading, and I know George probably didn't make mention, is the Banjo Project, the Banjo Rehabilitation Project, which is the roads, the sewage, and the drainage. That project, the roads have been substantially completed. We're currently working with our stakeholders, NAWEC, for the sewage and the drainage, because there's rehabilitation of the pump station on Bon Road, and then there's also the canal, the ring canal, that actually is the main carrier drain for Banjul. The other problem that we are having there is one of the components of that project that we are discussing is the sea outfall. There is a main drain that takes a lot of the sewage out of Banjul, and that basically goes underneath the new Foreign Affairs building out to the sea. But that sea outfall last year was actually damaged by the currents, and we are actually working to that, because that alongside the pump station makes sure that all the water, when it rains in Banjul, actually is taken out to the sea, because that's how the system is designed.
Madam, if that happens, if it's not factored in, that can lead to flooding in Banjul. If you allow all this water to go inside the sea, this can raise the level of water in the sea, and there can be actual flooding. I don't know whether I didn't understand it very well. You're talking about all this water is directed to the river, knowing the level of Banjul. That can be a disaster in the future. Don't you think so?
No, the idea is that the Banjul is an island, as we know. The only way you can excavate or remove water is through two ways. What the system in Banjul, the way it's designed, is that the water actually goes out to the bond polder. The bond polder serves as a retention pond, so it actually holds the water. And this is why it's very important. We have raised some issues regarding the development that was actually happening in the bond polder along Bond Road, because that's where the water that cannot go out into the sea is held there during the rainy season. And then there's a discharge that goes out to the sea, and over time it actually empties out. What we have done is that during the project, we actually put in temporary pumps that we're pumping this water out. But in the, as part of the project, there will be a design for a final permanent pump on Bond Road, and then also at Boxbar, to make sure that the water is evacuated through the, like I said, the channel system. But you have to evacuate it through the sea. What happens is that the outfall normally is higher, and it doesn't allow the water to come back in, because it's the way it's designed. There's a pump that pumps it out. So that is the way the system has always functioned, and it actually prevents flooding, so long as the pumps are in operation.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. That's the end of your presentation.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not sure, but yeah, so I think that we have got other projects that we are also doing. But one of the main things that I also want to maybe just talk about is that we have the building policy. Maybe it's not a part of the projects, but it's important. The building policy.
We want to building questions on that as well.
Okay.
But it's okay now that you bring it on.
Okay, so government in 2017 actually came up with a building policy in this country for the first time for public buildings and facilities. There was a consultant that looked at how government was building all its public buildings, and this includes schools, hospitals, and everything else. And the policy made some recommendation. In 2019, that was adopted by cabinet, and part of the recommendation is to actually create an authority that would champion building policy. One of the key things that the authority will actually do is to translate the policy into actual activities, but also to actually help safeguard certain things that are built into that. So for example, one of the things is that accessibility. I know that currently through the parliament there is this accessibility bill. So one of the things that will happen is that the building authority would make sure that going forward, once the bill is actually made into law, that all buildings are made accessible, public buildings. For example, making sure that disabled people can actually access buildings. They would be responsible for ensuring that that is actually implemented. The other thing that we are also very concerned about at the ministry as part of the policy is the lack of maintenance when it comes to government buildings. And this is mainly two reasons. There's a lack of capacity in the system. And one of the things that the authority will be able to do is to work with institutions, like even the National Assembly, for example. When this building had an issue of leakages, we worked with the Assembly to make sure that the building was actually repaired. And one of the things that we're doing is that we're also looking at doing a survey, which is ongoing, to ascertain all the government buildings in country and out of country. Because government also, I'm not sure if you're aware, owns buildings outside of Gambia. For example, recently we supervised the project that was done, which is the construction of the Saudi embassy, and that was a $5 million project. We are also working with other jurisdictions.
Is that a Saudi project? Like if you are going outside the country, visit this embassy in countries, government sponsors such project, or you seek funding from the host countries?
Yeah, so the bilateral agreements is that normally with these engagements or agreements with countries is that we provide land for them to build their embassies here and vice versa. In certain special instances, we actually have to provide an embassy for them, and they would do likewise in the host country. But for example of Saudi, they provided the land, but the responsibility for building the embassy is the Gambia government's responsibility, and we can solicit funding from donors, but it's the Gambia government responsible to build its embassy. The challenge that we have sometimes is that the lands have been, for example, in Saudi, the land was allocated in around 1984. Around 84 or something like that. And it took us until a couple of years ago to be able to build on that land. We have a similar challenge in Abuja, Nigeria. We have been allocated land since the 1980s. And we still haven't been able to build an embassy in there. And that land is in danger of being actually taken back into the system, because we allocated 2 land. One of them was for the embassy or the chancellor, and one was for the High Commissioner's residence. The High Commissioner's residence has now been re-entered and reallocated. And the other one that we have is now in the jail. So this is some of the things that we are working with to actually come up with a policy where government can actually make sure that once these lands are allocated by foreign governments, we're able to develop and make sure that, because it's easier, because if you compare that to what's happening in other jurisdictions where we are rented, the amount that government pays in terms of rents, especially in these Western countries, is very significant. So by building, we can save a lot on that rent. Okay. These are rented. Some belong to the Gambia. Okay. Some are reciprocal agreements whereby we give them a building here and they give us a building there. Oh. So those are the 3 combinations. But in terms of actual projects, we concluded the Saudi. We have a project where we are designing for Abuja in Nigeria. We also realized that also in Senegal, we have a lot of properties, but we don't really, the embassy where we are renting. So we also have a proposal to actually build in Senegal. In Ethiopia, there was a building that was done in 2012, which is due for rehabilitation. So we are doing a rehabilitation. There, the Gambia actually built an embassy. And Gambia was among the first West African countries to actually do that. And a lot of the other countries are now copying what we've done. Because what we have done in Ethiopia is we have an embassy and we have also built staff residence. So the staff that we post there, instead of paying rent, they actually stay in Gambian quarters. So again, that's another project that we have. Brussels, we are doing a renovation of the Chancery in Brussels. The embassy in the UK was recently also renovated. And the other one that we are looking at is the US as a project, because we also are rented in the US. So those are the projects that we have for foreign affairs.
Okay. When you're sending your presentation document, can you include all those projects for us to know where and the stages, everything? I would appreciate that, and thank you very much.
Okay,
thank you very much. So, I don't know whether your presentation is
I'll put something together.
Okay. Sure. Can we have the brand and communication of the OIC Secretariat to give us a presentation? Yeah. A project portfolio of the ministry. Okay, wait, continue the presentation.
Can I present from here?
Yes. Yes.
to the relevant file before I put it outside.
Mr. Clark?
Yes, sure.
I don't know whether the technicians they will close or they are still.
Second?
Are the technicians around they will close?
It's okay, it's okay.
It's coming. What is that?
So, but we've done.
I, Falli Fadera.
I, Falli Fadera.
Do affirm that.
Do affirm that.
I will speak the truth.
I will speak the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you very much, Mr. Ma. Good afternoon. My name is Mfalli Fadera. I work for the Gambia OIC Secretariat as the head of brand and communications. And on behalf of the Gambia OIC, I will be presenting on the developments and the milestones that we have achieved under the OIC 5-star hotel. So my presentation briefly, I will look at the organizational structure of the OIC, mindful of the fact that there might be some this is a new National Assembly with new members who may not be very much au fait with our mandate, our work, and everything about the OIC. So I'll briefly look at the organizational structure, the mandate, and then I will go to the relevant section. Yes, sir.
Sorry for the interruption. You know you will submit this document, so if you can go direct to the hotel project, so that by the time you submitted this, then the members will familiarize themselves, because we don't have time, if you don't mind, please.
That is absolutely okay.
Yeah, so that when we submit it, members will know the mandate and functions of the OIC Secretariat.
No problem. Yeah, I wanted to do it so that we can set the parameters of the conversation so that everybody is on the same page. But it's okay. I will go with you.
Sure. Yeah. Please, let's go directly.
Go straight. Okay. All right. So that being the case, I will go to the last part of the presentation and look at the hotel component of our work. Okay. Just by way of introduction, like I said, the Gambia is expected to host the 15th OIC Summit in the Gambia in 2023. And as part of that preparations, a lot of projects have been earmarked to ensure we host a successful summit in the Gambia. And one of those projects is the 5-star hotel. The 5-star hotel, as you can see on the board there, this is a graphic 3D representation of what it would look like. Unlike other projects that we have, most of which are funded through loans and grants, the 5-star hotel project is funded through an innovative financing model, which is a public-private partnership, a PPP. The Gambia government, as part of the effort to build this 5-star hotel, went into a concessional agreement with an investor that is based in Senegal, and the company is called Imolan Sar. The concessional agreement sums up to the tune of $100 million US. And as part of the project, a 5-star hotel, a Radisson Blue branded 5-star hotel, which is part of Radisson, as you may know, is an internationally known hotel franchise that engages in providing luxurious accommodation facilities around the world. So a part of this project, 400 rooms will be constructed. I mean, the capacity of the hotel will be 400 rooms, and that will include 60 luxurious suites, including presidential and royal suites. If it is going to be a problem, I can project with my voice. I think I'm audible enough.
Just continue with the mic, please.
Okay, because I see them coming all the time. It is this a bit distant.
Some interference.
So, like I said, the main rationale of building the hotel is to provide a befitting accommodation and reception facilities for the guests that will be coming, as part of the summit, but additionally also we are looking beyond the summit. Because at the OIC, our thinking is that we want to make sure we come up with projects that will last beyond the summit, because we see the summit coming to the Gambia as an opportunity to leverage every sector of development in this country. So beyond the summit, the 5-star hotel will provide luxurious accommodation facilities for tourists that are seeking such type of services around the world. If you look at our tourism landscape, even if we have 5-star hotels, I'm not sure we have them. Most of them are around 3-star. I'm not even sure we have 4 stars. So we are hoping that the coming of the 5-star will address that gap in our tourism sector. So since the concession agreement was signed, a special purpose vehicle was established called IMOGAM. A special purpose vehicle here is a company that is jointly owned by the government of the Gambia and a private investor, in this case Imolansal, and they came together and formed a company called IMOGAM. This IMOGAM will be the owner of the 5-star hotel where the Gambia government has a 10% share. And this share came about as a result of the contribution of the government of the Gambia, which is the provision of a 17-hectare land, which is our equity in this business. The land is located in Bijilo, and this land has been made available, or the process has advanced, making the land available to the business. Another milestone that has been achieved is that a comprehensive environment and safety assessment exercise was done. The report was compiled and distributed among relevant stakeholders for further consideration and action. Last year, since the concession agreement was signed, the investor visited the country with a team of technicians, including engineers, including architects, construction contractors from South Africa and Turkey, to do preliminary works, which include the design phase, etc. So as we speak, the first preliminary design work is in country, and it is also distributed among stakeholders for relevant consideration. So as we also speak this week, the landscaping work will also start on site, and we are hoping that by next month, mid-next month, the President will lay the foundation stone for the 5-star hotel, and then the civil works proper will commence. So these are the latest updates we have as far as the 5-star hotel is concerned. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Fadera, for your presentation. Now, with regards to this hotel project, $100 million will be invested into this project, owned by the Gambia government and the investor. Now, you did mention, I don't want to talk about the summit holding 2022. This we all know this is not realistic. I don't know why we keep saying it. And that's what I always say, when we are presiding over national processes, we have to be very careful of those kind of information. The summit in 2022, this is not realistic, and it's better the Gambia OIC Secretariat to come out with a plain statement that it's not possible, but the prospects are still very, very high. You know, we will do the summit, but 2022 is not possible, and I think the Secretariat should come out with a statement, the earlier the better, before keep confusing the population day in, day out. Now,
Mr. Chairman, may I come in?
Yeah, let me just say, I want to make a request. You've made quite a lot of documents here. Mm-hmm. Now, I will, on behalf of the this select committee, we want the Gambia OIC Secretariat to send us the agreement between IMOLAN and the government of the Gambia. That's number one. Number two, the IMOGAM 2. We want that document to be submitted to the National Assembly, and also the social and environmental report that you mentioned should also be sent to this National Assembly. I don't know how are you guys comfortable with that encumbrance on the land by those medical team. They have a valid judgment against you people. Or you keep saying you want that land until the president is coming to lay the foundation 16 July. We have to be very, very careful of court orders. nothing supersedes court order, and no directive supersedes court order. You guys will create more chaos on that land if you attempt to lay the foundation block there. And is that the only land available in the TDA area? That land has been under intense encumbrance since the beginning of this project, but we are still pursuing to build the hotel on that land. Is that the only land available in the TDA? Why can't we look at other options? Because this is what I always say, citizens also have right, and it's the responsibility of every citizen to protect court judgment. And that lady I saw, that's why I say, social media reaction against anybody, we are not going to take it seriously, but we're going to do necessary parliamentary scrutiny. Because this come from concerned Gambians. Maybe they may not have time to come and address this session. So that's why if you read anything about their reactions on any one of you, we will find it. And we are going to conduct necessary parliamentary scrutiny. That doesn't mean that we are holding social media views on anybody here. So we want to get these documents here. Please, I don't know, when shall you supply the National Assembly Select Committee on Government Project Monitoring and Implementation to make handle all these documents that we have just mentioned here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. If I may, I just want to address a few points you raised. The first one being on the date of the summit. I want to put it on record that as far as we are concerned, up to this minute, there is nothing that has changed in Gambia hosting the summit this year. If there is any changes, we will communicate that to your honorable office and the people of this country. So we are maintaining that the Gambia is expected to host the summit this year, 2022. If there are any changes, we'll communicate that. The second point being the issue of the legality surrounding the land. As far as the Gambia OC Secretariat is concerned, we are not, the land is not encumbered, as you said, because the government of the Gambia has made the land available with all the right documentation. What is happening in the courts, I will not comment on it because it's a judicial process. But what we know and we can report on is that the land is not entangled in any legal matter that can obstruct our work. Thank you very much.
I don't know. I don't think the matter is this year or before the court. I think the judgment has already been handed over to the other party.
Yeah, but the government also has some legal options to explore, and as far as I know, the matter is not exhausted.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's have these documents, please.
Yes, thank you very much. The issue is already answered by you that you're sticking to the promise of that this year there will be available.
Honorable Vice Chair, I cannot hear you. I don't know.